Hello. Hello, welcome, hello, welcome. It is time for the Belief Buffet. I am John Halcyon, and this is a weekly opportunity for me to share a lesson, an idea, a download. And I have been away. I've been on the big island of Hawaii, and it was so much better than I expected. I stayed for twice as long as I planned. I saw more things, took in more glory of waterfalls and jungles, and met amazing people, and saw tropical fish, and swam with a sea turtle. Did that really all happen? It did. And I got to spend incredible time with my friend Scott, who I've known since we were 12 years old, playing on the Seahawks soccer team. Go Seahawks! And I will be uploading the video that I made from my trip. So you can look for that on the YouTube channel, on the Hug Nation YouTube channel. And I will be sharing some writing from the trip. But today I'm going to talk about something else. Today I'm going to talk about practice and the importance of practice and the importance of being a love ambassador. So why don't I just get into it? Thank you for being here. If you're here live, if you're watching this recording, if you are reading a transcription of this from a future archaeologist that is trying to figure out what our culture was like right before the collapse, greetings and hello and welcome. Welcome, I'm Halcyon, and this is the Belief Buffet, part of the Hug Nation broadcasting network that includes 9 a.m. every day broadcast, a Love Ambassador meetup, a noon, 6 p.m., and 3 in the morning gratitude circle in zoom.hugnation.com. I host the noon and 6 p.m., and these times are Pacific, West Coast times. Then this once a week broadcast here that is made into an archive on the Hug Nation YouTube channel, plus the occasional whatever that I'm called to do and share, like the recent video I made going downtown and serving ice cream to people experiencing homelessness. What a lucky life I lead. But it's not all luck, and that's what I want to talk about today, that there is a need to be practicing being a love ambassador so that when you find opportunities, you can act on them. And I want to share a couple examples of when I saw that working and when not practicing had consequences this week. First, I want to share a friend story that I read online. A friend was on a plane in the second to last row, and there was a couple in their 70s holding hands, somewhat frail, coming down the aisle, asking about empty seats and seeing would people switch so that they could sit together, and no one would say yes. And so finally, he got up and said, absolutely, hey, look, if I move, there's one here, I'll go to some middle seat someplace so you guys can sit together. And the woman started crying. She said, we're on our 70-something wedding anniversary and going to visit the place where we met. And I just can't imagine being apart from him for a moment. And she started crying. And he was saying, it's unfortunate that so few people were willing to make some effort to give such a significant gift to these people. And it made me think about, and how good did he feel? And then he got to share it with people like me who were inspired, which is one of the reasons why I share things all the time. I'm trying to break out of our headspaces that keep us in a state of protection and keep us in a state of, I don't want to get taken advantage of. I want to protect myself. I want to make sure that, I want to get mine. But the reality is, you rarely can make yourself as happy as when you can give to someone else and light them up. So in this moment, this guy, because he was in the headspace of like, I am looking for opportunities to be a love ambassador, one approaches, bing, he can act on it, makes his trip, he's still vibrating. Everyone involved gets to spread ripples of joy. And then I'll share an example. Just this morning, I was at the store, and as I was getting my bags together, I saw a guy going through a trash can for cans. And that's one of my preferred ways of gifting to people who are experiencing homelessness is if I mean, clearly he's not in an awesome financial situation. I'd prefer to give to someone who I can see is struggling, but that is not specifically panhandling and asking for money, at an off ramp. I just prefer, the experience feels more rewarding and more gifting, whereas I feel panhandling feels transactional. And so I started to look for what I might have money-wise, and the smallest bill I had was a 20, and at the time I didn't feel comfortable giving him a 20, and by the time I kind of talked myself into, sure, I can give him 20, he was gone. And I was like, I wasn't prepared. I wasn't in my gifting Love Ambassador mode enough, so I missed the opportunity. Luckily, that put me in the headspace, and so then a few minutes later, I saw a guy walking with a gas can, and I went like, safely. I didn't really screech, but I pulled over quickly, rolled down my windows, and was like, hey, can I give you a ride to your car? And he was like, kind of taken aback, and then he was like, actually, I'm only 2 blocks up, but, thank you very much. And then I think even though I didn't have to do any work, I felt good. I think he got a feeling of a little positivity ripples, like, hey, here's a neighbor that is willing to reach out. And so I would have missed that too if I wasn't in the headspace. It would have been 2 blocks later. I said, oh, should I circle back around? Which I probably wouldn't have done. And these are the things that, when you are practicing every day, little things, like just saying, hi, good morning, hi, oh, can I hold the door for you? When you have that headspace on it all the time, every day, which is why I do a morning broadcast every day at 9 to kind of like snap into that and remind people and myself that we have that opportunity to put ripples every day. That then when a bigger opportunity comes, you can act on it. When you see somebody coming down the aisle that needs a space, and you go, I bet I want to make these people's trip beautiful. Or when you see somebody going through a trash can, or like with the case of Anna, who fled Ukraine, you realize, oh, I have the ability to drive 20 hours and pick this family up from the border. But you don't act on those big opportunities if you're not practicing and you're not in that head on a swivel. Kind of like a couple weeks ago when I saw that ice cream was being blown out for 6 pints for $1, and I went and I bought 50 pints, all they had, and then handed them out to local people experiencing homelessness. I would have missed it. Now, luckily, I have people that now know me well enough that someone called me and goes, dude, look at this ice cream. And so I was able to have like an army of people giving reports from the front lines of the default world. And it's the little things over time. Someone asked me, around my birthday, what is something that you've learned over the last year that you would pass on? So I think a big lesson for me this year has been this very idea that making a difference in the world is not so much about finding the big thing that you can do. It's about living on a day-by-day basis, looking for small things that you can do. And then over time, lots of small things become a big thing. Taking 2 steps every day after 20 years puts you in a whole other state, maybe another country, maybe on the other side of the world. Maybe you've drowned, though, if you go in the wrong direction, so maybe that's a bad idea. But my point is, it's tempting to say, I'm going to just take care of myself and protect myself and keep care of my security and acquiring things and make my, until I get to a point of where I feel secure and safe and I feel like I'm good enough and I'm strong enough and I have enough wisdom and I have enough experience that I can now go be of service in the world. But no. Right now. Saying hi, saying good morning, saying you want to ride. Even if somebody says no, you are still putting that ripple out there. You're still establishing and saying, hey, people out there in the world, we are simpatico. We are connected. And that message, that reminder that we're all connected and we're all more alike than we are different is mandatory if we're going to make it through this. So thank you for everyone who is practicing and inspiring me. Thank you for this wacky life with all the opportunities to learn. And thank you. I love you. I also want to share one example that happened where I felt like, ooh, this could have gone so much better. I was having dinner with a group of people, and the last people that arrived, as they sat down and the waitress came up, they saw in our big group of people, we only had one menu. And so they responded, can we get a few more menus? And it was awkward. And it was kind of insulting and really entitled, and really I felt like it treated the person awaiting us like they had already done something wrong. It was a complaint. And she's like, oh, there are QR codes all over the tables, but I'll go get you some more menus. And then the person that they came with kind of said, do you have sparkling water? They said no. And the person said, well, I guess I'll take some limes, And it was like, now immediately these two people had complained. The waitress was now kind of in defensive mode. And I don't know if it's just me, but I felt like from then on, this person their job was to attend to us, was kind of in defensive mode and kind of like wanted to make sure that we weren't unhappy, which is different than trying to make us happy and being like our friend for the night, which is how I would like to encounter people. Now, I get that there are times when you need to be stern. If you call a call center and say, hey, this charge doesn't sound right, if you don't start yelling and be like mean, it's not going to get escalated and you're probably not going to get your money back. It sucks. I hate that. But in most other situations, I think you can say, hey, you know what? Looks like we only have one menu. Could we get some more? Or, oh, that's unfortunate that you don't have this drink that I want. Now, if you're really frustrated by it, you could say, could I pass on some feedback to the owners that, someone like myself that doesn't drink alcohol, it's kind of frustrating when there's so few options and you don't even have sparkling water. And then the waitress can say, that's a good point. Still on our team, pass that on. But maybe, I don't know. I feel like, that whole night could have been so much better if we started with a little bit of gratitude practice instead of falling into the trap of a complaint. Because once the complaint ripple was out there, it touched everything to me. And it took me a while to kind of get out of it. And actually, I feel like it affected the temperature of the whole night. That's me complaining now. So thank you for your understanding as I work through this. So we will keep practicing. We will keep looking for ways that we can find more cone. Notice when we are focused on the crap. And be compassionate for everyone. Sometimes all you can do is complain because it's hard to find the cone. That's okay too. I certainly don't want to be critical of anyone. But I would like to find ways that I can enjoy my time with people more. So thank you for letting me enjoy this time so much. I love you. Let's have a hug and then I'm going to head off because I just got a message that my parents are nearby and they invited me to lunch. Lucky me. So wherever you are, give yourself a squeeze and let's sink into this place of connection and oneness, this place beyond our thoughts and politics and ideas, into our place of our shared humanity. And feeling that we are being held by one another and by those that will watch this recording and those that all of us love. All these massive networks of connection are all intertwined, dissolving into a oneness in this moment. And let's take a deep breath in and give a squeeze and feel us all in this embrace and hold it at the top. And release. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of you beautiful ambassadors of love, thank you for being here for this Hug Nation hug. I love you. If you like this shirt, I am making these available at the lovemorefearless.com store. They say sexy, silly, sacred. They come in blue and pink and black, as well as other shirts like Love More, Fear Less, Float More, Steer Less, Wake, Love, Repeat, and others. And if you would like to get a notification each morning when I go live at about 9 a.m. Pacific time, you can go to text.hugnation.com and just give me your phone number, and I will send out a text each morning. I try to make it a little different so it's not totally automated, but I will welcome you and send you the link to the broadcast so you can be there live if you'd like.